Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers. I'm looking this afternoon at a book from the Law Society. This is a special report. It's this structure, it's A4 size. You can see the book itself. It's actually got a title, a special report, Social Media in the Legal Sector, and it's been written by Nathan Smith in conjunction with Smith & Smith. You can see the stuff at the bottom. That's the back of the report itself, and there's no index, but you've got paragraph numbering. You can see right at the end sort of paragraph numbering you've got, and right at the beginning you've got a very useful contents section at the front, and then you go straight into specific chapters. And it's very much a book for the practice manager within your local practice. I found it fascinating because it's applicable not just to solicitors but to barristers, and I think anybody involved in the legal profession when it comes to looking at the power of social media, which is basically still misunderstood and very much in its infancy, I think, for the future of marketing and the way we actually conduct ourselves legally with both contentious litigation and the way in which we just generally do our legal business. Now, we've written some reviews which have appeared in various places, and this is going to be a subject area which is going to crop up again and again from different publishers as they look at the growth of social media and what's going on at the moment. We've given it a title, Running a Law Firm, Get Set to Go Profitably Social. In other words, let's look at making a profit out of using the social media, and that's exactly what this is trying to help us do. I think it's a wonderful book because the reaction I've had so far from people who've read the reviews, which we put on the web and that have appeared in the journals, has been very positive, apart from the usual people who come up with rather silly things, but that makes life all the more fun, doesn't it? What we're saying though here is this is new from Law Society Publishing, and they've actually produced in a management report format a publication which flies the flag quite vigorously for social media as collectively an effective and potentially profit-generating business development tool for law firms. Now, I have one word to say about this because social media can be seen as a toy or a little plaything for the kids and all the other people, the adults, the teenagers, the ones who haven't grown up quite yet. And then you've got that group of people who are using it for business, the professionals. I've seen them in action, the media people, the TV people and so on. It works, and that's one of the reasons why I'm very much in favour of this type of publication assisting us so that we know where we're going. Because quite often we're sort of going up the garden path and stopping off on the way to pick up a few daisies, if you like, and not getting the overall picture when it comes to what social media is offering us. Quote, "As far as law firms are concerned, the future has now arrived," says the author Nathan Smith. And it's called Social Media. So the latest publication from the Law Society, How to Do Titles, offers a succinct yet comprehensive guide for both solicitors and barristers, as I've said, as to the best practice in such key media platforms as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. That's in reverse order of importance, we'd suggest, for the professionals. But, it depends on what your interests are. Now, Nathan Smith, who's a social media PR consultant, no, don't run away, who has provided social media training to such organisations as the Institute of Directors, that's the IOD, Microsoft, do they need it? And HSBC, I think they probably do, is actually well versed in this particular area, so it's very useful to see what he says. His enthusiasm for social media is boundless, and quite rightly too. Quote, "The potential of these media for law firms," he says, "particularly in reputation management and marketing, is immense. Just how immense is revealed page by page, chapter by chapter. Contemplate and absorb a reasonable percentage of the contents, and I think you're well on the way to attracting more work, happier clients, and ultimately enhanced profits." No promises, of course, but you can see that the effect of social media is such a vast area, and it's quite new and untapped. It's a little bit like the old gold rush in the 19th century, where there are all these great pieces of potential out there, and you've got to go and harness them. And that's really what we do, even as lawyers. And we've got to identify, if we are lawyers in specialist areas like counsel, we've still got to know the existence of this sort of thing, so that we've got some idea of what's going on, because an awful lot of the younger generation are very switched on, and us older fellas aren't quite up to speed. So we've got to use things like this to help us. What in fact Nathan Smith's immediate task has been is he tackles with relish, as I say, the ability to persuade the more sceptical members of the legal fraternity that social media as marketing tools really do work if you work them properly. And to this end he reveals an impressive ability to show you how, and that's the key to the book. Very helpful it is too. First, he sets out to demystify social media for the uninitiated, and he demonstrates its effectiveness as a business development tool, not to mention a brand builder and recruiter. Using real-life examples, take it that he has, he provides best practice guides to using the key platforms which offer the best business building potential for the legal sector, and I think it's something many of us will be very grateful to have. Specific chapters focus on why, for example, YouTube, Google obviously and Flickr are each good for business, and he also lists the drawbacks, which there are quite a few. One of the major benefits of the books, and I want to be positive here, is that are the actual case studies which reveal how specific named law firms harness the various social media to their advantage. Just remember one thing, think of all the businesses out there and how many of them now have people who are looking at social media in a totally different way, like Facebook, all these other organisations I've mentioned. It's quite important because some of the successful businesses are actually creating posts and going into that area in a much bigger way. So it's worth reading, noting and learning the bits and pieces he's got in the book, and predictably you too may profit similarly. That's at least we hope that will be the case. Now, another notable feature for practitioners, particularly if you're a compliance officer, is the appendix, which is a Law Society practice note on social media. I knew they'd get in on the act at some stage, because these characters always do, and I'm not being rude or anything, but they're always going to keep a good eye on what we get up to, sort of looking from above on what we are. But at the end of the day, I hope they're not going to stifle what we're trying to do, because I think this is an important step forward in the 21st century, and we've got to understand the limitations and also try to use it to the most constructive advantage for ourselves, our clients and everybody else. So in short, let me say that acquiring this particular report could confer on you a level of expertise in these new, yet now well-established media, to some people anyway, which is really quite impressive. And you would do well, in our view, to have this special handy volume as a report to your professional library. And I'm very grateful that the Law Society are actually going into this area and producing this stuff. Their marketing department is first class, in my view, in producing stuff which assists the practitioner very well. I think sometimes we take it for granted that the Law Society is just there and there are, we just accept that that's what they do. But in fact, this is very helpful and a great boon to all of us in practice, especially those who are a bit older, who do need a little bit of extra help and the expertise which people like Mr. Smith have. So thank you very much to all concerned, and I'm very grateful to have this publication for review. Bye-bye.